Today we are going to be making July's birthstone soap. Now I know it's way early in June, but the next few videos are going to be our cold process soap making teaching series, and I didn't want to break those up. As many of you already know, I was born in July. I will be 26 on July 26th. That will only happen one time. So I tried to let my own intuition about July babies guide me. So there's a lot of red in this soap. I also tried to play into the fact that so many of y'all have been requesting some lemonade fragrances, whether it was strawberry lemonade, watermelon lemonade, raspberry lemonade, lemonade. Lemonade has been highly requested, so we added some lemonade into this bar. Now, if you want to, you can follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I've got some fun stuff going on over there. I've got some polls I'm about to put up on Instagram for fun things in the future, specifically fall. And then on TikTok, TikTok? I have some exclusive sneak peeks that will be coming up. Those folks on TikTok were the first ones to see our conditioner bars, which, by the way, my TikTok got 1 million views. We went viral on TikTok. My life is complete. Everything I ever wanted has come true. What are the odds of soap going viral ever, really? Probably not that many. Anywho, I hope you liked today's video. I hope you love the embeds that we have put on top. And without further ado, let's make some soap. In the words of Madam Saponifi, let's get crackin'. I'm going to pour this in very slowly because I want to. Sometimes I just find it a satisfying thing to watch, pouring water, because if you pour it at just the right way, it looks like it's not moving at all. Have you guys seen that balloon trick where you like put a little X on a balloon and then it comes out, and it comes out so smoothly that it just looks like it's an ice sculpture? TikTok showed that to me. Okay, so let's blend this up for about 15 seconds on high until everything is just past emulsion, or emulsification for you OGs out there. Now, I've seen a lot of instructional tutorials that talk about the oil sitting on top. You can see on the top of my batch here that there's still some oil that hasn't been incorporated. But if you can tell that the rest of your soap is where it needs to be, don't worry about that and just blend it in with your spatula by hand. Now, if half your batter looks like that, it's never gonna work. But you can see me just taking this spatula and mixing it in by hand gets rid of any little tiny bits of oil that may be sitting on the top. I think one of the most egregious sins I see from new soap makers is over blending. You do not have to blend that much. Of course, depending on your recipe. If you're doing a recipe that is only olive oil, you're gonna have to blend a little longer for that. But even so, you can get away with not blending very much. You have to remember, in the old-fashioned days of soap making, people were blending by hand. That's all they had, and they were still getting soap at the end of it. They were also, you know, cooking their soap, and they were using quite a bit of lard in it, but all the same, they weren't using fancy stick blenders, and they were still reaching an emulsified state. Now, I'm gonna split this batch exactly in half. I know, I'm being precise today. What's gotten into me? I've tared out my white bucket on the scale, so then I'm just gonna kind of guess, and I'm gonna pour it into both of the pitchers. Then I'm gonna back weigh them and see how close I got. I am scraping my little container off of camera. I'm sorry, it's not in frame. Ooh, I know. Let's see how close I got to getting these even. So that was the weight of the bucket. So this one weighs, what's that say? 73.4. And this one weighs 71.7, so within 2 ounces of each other. That will do. I've set one of the buckets off to the side, and we're gonna work with this one right here. The bottom color of our Ruby Lemonade soap is going to be red, and I have measured out exactly how much Trial by Fire is recommended from Nurture Soap, because it will bleed. Trial by Fire will bleed if you use too much. Don't use too much. do 1 teaspoon per pound of oils. And for me, that comes out to almost exactly 3 teaspoons, which is 1 tablespoon, or 2.35 grams. I always measure my colorants out in grams because that is the most specific way to measure. I do not measure things out in tablespoons or teaspoons anymore because your teaspoon versus my teaspoon versus Caleb's teaspoon might be very different things. Grams, however, are the same for everybody. So that's how I measure. I'm gonna start by blending this in by hand because there is a lot of liquid on the top. I don't want any to fall out. I have definitely maxed out the capacity of this bucket. Oh dear. Now let us pour this in. I'm gonna spin these around to make sure they're even. Looks pretty good, just have a little bit to put in. I'm gonna take my little scraper from Love Your Suds and I'm gonna place it on top of this soap and then gently pull across. And that is going to get rid of any little wrinkledy bits that might be on top. It's still quite fluid and completely able to handle this. Oh dear, I have dropped it. Okay, so now for the next part, which is going to prove rather tricky because once again, my soap batter is being difficult. It might have to do with the humidity. Sometimes I find that that truly does affect your soap making. It also very much affects bath bomb making. Those bath bomb makers have, I give them all the credit that they so richly deserve. I think bath bomb makers are the most skilled in the handcrafted bath and body community because them trying to fight humidity with ingredients that expand and contract and fizzle and stuff is just so impressive to me. Now, once again, we are going in with some Trial by Fire. I think this is like, oh my gosh, I don't even know, like 1.5 grams. I want to say. Then I have some titanium dioxide. And then I have some True Yellow from TKB Trading. We should now blend with our stick blender from lightest to darkest. Then I'm going to dump them all into one container and we're going to plop it into the mold. I probably won't be able to talk during this time because I'll be rushing. So you guys enjoy this really fast clip. Honestly, this looks like the most colorful pudding ever. I did that one little turn there, gonna do another little turn here, and we're gonna pour. I am just going to have to plop this in, tap it down, and then plop some more. Okay guys, I have filled up the molds, I've smoothed them down a little bit, and now I'm gonna mix up the soap frosting. Look at this luscious soap frosting. I'm using an Atico 826, which is our most meringue looking frosting tip because I thought it would totally match the whole theme. And the frosting is still a little bit runny, but I've done it that way because I have quite a few embeds and some salts that I need to put on top, and I want all of them to stick really well. This soap frosting got me to thinking about lemon meringue pie, which got me to thinking about pie in general, which got me to thinking about how pie is such a quintessentially summer dessert. Now I know we've got pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving and maybe even like a meat pie or something for Christmas, but fruit pies belong to summer. My favorite pie of all time used to be key lime pie. But as I've gotten older, I found myself not enjoying the graham cracker crust as much. It's a little gritty for my taste. I love just regular pie crust, and I feel like if there was a key lime pie made with regular pie crust, that would be my favorite. But I've never come across one. And when I was younger, about 14 or so, and my parents moved out to the country, there was an old feed store that connected to a little country diner. And in the country diner, they had homemade pies of all different types, one of which was coconut cream pie. And I tell you what, the first time I tried that, I felt like I had died and gone to heaven. I know a lot of people don't like coconuts, and honestly, I love coconuts and always have, and so I can't say that I fit in that boat, but I will say that coconut cream pie doesn't taste too much like coconuts to me. And as I'm thinking about it right now, I'm not sure I've ever tried a cherry pie that wasn't made from canned cherry pie filling. I don't think I've ever had a cherry pie made from fresh cherries. I've never seen a cherry tree in real life, and so I'm gonna guess there probably aren't many, if any, in Texas. And so if you've ever had a fresh cherry pie, you'll have to tell me if there's a shocking difference between that and the cherry pies that you can either buy at the store or can be made with canned cherry pie filling. I know that fresh things are normally better, but occasionally you'll find something where it's like, you know what? There isn't much of a difference. I also think that pie making is a lost art. I've read so much about people making pies in the good old days and how they all had secret recipes that they would enter in like the state fair, and everyone always wanted a bite of Miss So-and-so's pie because it was very, very special and no one made anything quite like it. All right, last little dollop on top. All right, and as the soap frosting is still quite runny, I am going to add my colored salts. These are bath water crystals from Wholesale Supplies Plus, and they have been covered with slicker yellow, raincoat yellow, let me look. Bright yellow raincoat from Mad Micas, which is a very cheery, very vibrant yellow. I'm just gonna put this down the sides of the soap, focusing on the sides and not the top because there's a big embed going on the top. It looks like those teeny tiny clear sprinkles. And you know what? I'm not actually sure who made up the colored salts thing. I can't remember if I saw someone do it or if I made it up. That's how you know I've been doing it a long time. Now let's go ahead and put on the largest of the embeds. I'm going to be very careful holding these. These are our rubies. So if I hold them up to the light, you can see through them. They're a little harder to see that way in the camera, but I promise you can. And then we have dusted them with both yellow and gold mica. We used the Mystic micas from Nurture Soap because I wanted to try them out, and they really are quite stunning. They're very similar to Sparkle Me Red and Sparkle Me Gold from Mad Micas, but they're a little flakier. The actual particles are a bit bigger, and so to me they act a little more like a glitter instead of a mica. And I'm doing my best to line these up just right so the minimum amount of damage will be done to them whenever we cut the soap. They are almost all exactly 1 inch long. I wonder if I need to add some more of the salts. They sure are pretty on the sides. We'll have to see what a difference it makes to add in the final embed. I hear my father outside talking to Lily. He must have come by to grab something from the studio. And she giggled and said, "Papa," when he walked up, and he said, "You got some snappy little shoes." Just wait till I show you these final embeds. Now, I sat down with my sister Shelly, and she troubleshot how to make this work. And finally, we came up with a gradient yellow and red soap curl. Isn't that stunning? She always does such an incredible job and gets me exactly what I want. And I told her I don't mind if the colors bleed together a little bit because then that will look orange, and that totally, of course, complements everything. And she said, I'll try to keep them as separate as possible, but no promises. And sure enough, she did an impeccable job. The way we do it around here is that Shelly and I I have a big discussion about what kind of embeds we're gonna make for the soaps, how we're gonna make them, what colors we're going to use, and then she goes on and does all the little test batches and then brings them to me for approval. It's a very, very, very small scale. And then she'll provide me, you know, with like 5 or 6, and almost all of the time I like one of them and one of them is absolutely perfect, but occasionally I'll say, no, I don't like any of those. You'll have to go back to the drawing board, and I'll give her some notes. But she's so tremendously good at them. It really doesn't require that much from me. I don't know why, we just have that thing in common. And normally Shelly and I are quite opposite in almost everything. Shelly is quite introverted in some ways. She and I both still, I think, share the same amount of stubbornness. It just takes a different form. And I love to be with people all the time. I love to talk to everyone that I see. She has gone with me to the grocery store, and it has been bad because if an old lady catches me and wants to tell me all about her kids, I like to listen and I ask questions. And Shelly's like, we don't know this person. Why are we talking to this person? She was also quite studious. She got really, really good grades in school. And I'm not saying I didn't get good grades. I got A's and B's, but Shelly is an A+ student. Let's spin these around and put some more in. She's also tremendously good at things like chemistry and science, which I did not do well at all with in school. I know, the irony. I just wasn't good at it. I'm just not very skilled in it at all. Math is horrid for me. I would be lost without a calculator, but she's so quick. I did very well in things like English and history. Also did surprisingly well in biology. I took biology twice because I was homeschooled and could do that and really loved the subject. But it would seem, as we're getting older, that we are finding some more common ground. Embeds being one of them. And I have told her that you guys would like to see her. She's not quite ready to appear yet, but I'm letting her take her time. And I keep showing her how nice you guys are. And I'm like, look, they would be so happy to see you. They won't be mean or nasty. These are good, sweet, kind people. This is a safe place for you to be. And she's like, oh, maybe soon. Shelly is graduating high school this year, and she hasn't quite decided what she's going to do. But I know whatever she picks to do, she will do to her utmost ability. And anybody who she works for will be lucky to have her. Now, let's say we add some more little salts to the top. I've spritzed them so that we can mix them all up. You guys want to watch me mix them? It's so much fun. Now, all my July babies, I do realize I just spent this whole video talking about pie. I don't know why, it just seemed natural, but I hope you guys like what I did with your ruby birthstone. Obviously, we cannot afford to buy real rubies to put on top of this soap. So I hope that our Melt and Pour embeds mixed with the raspberry lemonade fragrance and design that so many of y'all have been asking for hits the mark. All right, I'm gonna give this a light spritzing. I don't want anything to start melting on top of the soap. And then I'll bring you guys in for a close-up. There we are. Look at them with their lovely little selves. I love the soap curls, and I can't tell you how good this smells. It really does smell like both raspberry and lemonade, and I think that kale and clay that we put in is really gonna help the slip of the bar. It's also gonna anchor that fragrance. It's gonna be great. So I'm gonna wait 18 to 24 hours, as you guys already know, and then we're gonna come back and we're going to cut up this soap, take a peek and a smell at the inside, and ask the question of the day after, come on, y'all know what's coming. Say it right now. You can say it. That's right. After this quick commercial break. Look at my horrible nails. The colors are so pretty, but the chipping is so bad. I will be putting on gloves so that y'all don't have to look at my wretchedness. I'm bringing out Evangeline because many of you guys have requested to see her. Here she is. She is still being used quite often. And here is our beautiful Ruby Lemonade soap. She looks even more splendid today than she did yesterday. And I'm just going to turn her gently on the side because there are salts on top and they sometimes get in the way of the cutter and they make drag marks. So this is just an extra special precaution. Okay, I have lined things up and I'm gonna press down very gently. It is still quite sticky, so this is not a problem at all. And hopefully that will get all the salts out of the way so that I'm not whacking them as I'm bringing this bar down. Gently. Let me just pop some of these out the middle. Oh boy! And this is what it looks like on the inside. That looks so delicious. Honestly, on the next couple of batches, I might end up lightening up that yellow just a smidge. I think it looks more like a drink right now, but if I add a little tiny bit of TD in it, it will make the yellow pop and be even more of a contrast against the red. But my gosh, I'm not complaining. It smells so good. Here's some with some more of the white in there. That provides a pretty heavy contrast. Yeah. Oh my gosh, those little swirly embeds are so cute. Now, the question of the day, as you guys know, has now been moved to the comment section because they took away my poll card. Darn you, YouTube. I would like to know today if you prefer regular lemonade, so just lemon lemonade, or raspberry/strawberry lemonade. Do you like to add in fun flavors? Maybe like a mint? Ooh, this one looks really cool. Look at that one. Oh. So once again, now to vote on the question of the day, you can find my 2 comments down below from the Royalty Soaps official YouTube channel, and it will have the 2 options. Then you can comment down below and we can have a fun conversation about lemonade. Because honestly, lemonade is so good. Who doesn't want to talk about lemonade? Well, I'm pleased. The top of this soap looks really swirly. It actually does look like a drink. And I think in the future, I might add a very light mica line in gold, maybe in some yellow to sort of separate the 2 layers a little bit more so that you can tell that they're different. But other than that, I'm pleased as punch. I love the yellow on the top. It smells great. Like, it smells really good. You got the big ruby on top. I hope all of you July babies are pleased. And remember, the July release is going to be on a different day. We normally do a release on a Saturday, but the first Saturday of July is July 4th, and we didn't want to put the release out on that day. So we will be doing the release on Friday night, July 3rd at 8 p.m. So it's at night. Hopefully most people are home from work. I'm sorry for those of y'all who are international and that's like way early in the morning. We just had to cater to the majority of customers, most of which are in the United States. So July 3rd, Friday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Of course, I'll put stuff on Royalty Soaps for you to set alarm if you want to. I would recommend setting an alarm as we had an unprecedented wild summer release. Like, it's crazy. I never expected that. Honestly, it just blew all of our numbers out of the water for the whole year. We're working on making more now. We're working on getting more people in. We are at max capacity, especially due to the fact that some of our supply chains are not quite up and running yet due to current global events and restrictions on raw materials. So that's a lot of words, but I'm saying we're going to try to make more and that the release will be on a different day. And of course, we'll restock shampoo, conditioner bars, diamond soaps, all that kind of stuff. I've got a lot of things going on in my personal life right now that I will talk to you about later, but suffice to say, I am more busy than I feel like I ever have been, and I have 2 kids under the age of 2. It is nutballs at Royalty Soaps. Please do something fun for yourself today, whether that is going outside and then running right back inside because it's 102 degrees where you live, or maybe making up your own fancy lemonade. You can make these lemonades at home, and if you don't want to do all the juicing of actual lemons, you can get that Country Time lemonade and then just like make it super fancy by putting a bunch of junk in it. I hope you all have an absolutely royal day. The next video is our soap making series. I have been prepping for this. I'm so excited for this. I'm going to tell you guys where to buy stuff. And the whole point of the soap making series is for you to make beautiful bars right off the bat and inexpensively. Those are my 2 main goals, to be inexpensive and to get beautiful products. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm done. I talked so much. I'm so sorry. I'm sure half of y'all aren't even here anymore. I will see you all next week. And until then, have an absolutely marvelous rest of your weekend and bye for now.